rather fittingly, in Q3. And let's watch this on board. A little bit wide through one. Haven't really analysed anyone's laps yet. Last time this season we will get to enjoy this alien tier, produce some of these quali laps which have at times been phenomenal. Been running out of superlatives to describe these drivers with. Sticks it through fourth. Under the bridge, down to third for the hairpin. Doesn't really matter if you miss that apex, it's all about the exit and it's all about the rotation you get through that hairpin. Up to 8th and down to 5th. Keep as much speed as you can, drops to 4th for the second spoon corner, corrects a little bit of a potential snap of oversteer, but keeps it all clean on the exit of the spoon corner. Completely flat through 130R. These cars too good on the traction and the grip nowadays. Don't expect to see anyone lifting off unless it's wet. Take a nice tight line, and this is the quickest time we've seen this evening so far. 28.8. Mr. Wiggles' teammate 4 tenths back as Killian does a 28.9 and puts himself 1 tenth away from provisional pole. Currently on the front row of the grid. Asthma Frog 30.9, but we do know he can go quicker than that. So it must have had some kind of a mistake or backed off towards the end. Little Chaz ended Q2 on top of the timing screens. Can he get there again? Needs to go quicker than his Q2 time to do so. It is a 28.9 and puts himself ahead of Killian onto provisionally the front row of the grid. So that's a decent lap there from Chaz. What about Josh though? He's coming round the final chicane and this could be a very crucial lap. It's a 28.9 and puts himself into P2. Fury will be next across the line as he crosses the second sector split and brakes hard for the chicane. Gets on the power, goes up through the gears before engaging full throttle. 29.8 as Allied Squire behind him sets a 29.6 and goes 6th fastest. Smaller Smiley. The camera was not caught up there. I thought maybe he was stopped on track. Oh my word, CD. That is hilarious. Smaller Smiley then to round out the first quali runs from everyone. 30.2 ahead of his teammate on the 4th row of the grid. We will stay on board with Joseph Hales as he goes through his outlap and flying lap. It's always your sector 2. Not good, said Mr. Wiggles, so that middle sector catching Wiggles out. Not too far away, only 4 tenths away from pole position, so with a bad sector 2. 4 tenths sounds pretty reasonable, to be honest. In his own little world, Mr. Wiggles, in between Killian and Allied Squire. 6 tenths between 4th and 6th. Mr. Wiggles slap bang in the middle. What about Joseph Hales then? As he navigates this tricky middle sector. The trickiest parts are the 2 Degners underneath the bridge and then the hairpin. That is the big challenge. Obviously spoon corner as well adds to that difficult sector 2. The split comes up on the middle of this straight he's on now. You got out already. You got out in 2019. Well, whatever floats your boat, I guess. It took you 3 minutes 40. You timed it. Joseph Hales P5, and not too far away from a spot on the front row of the grid. Joseph wasn't able to get out for a run in time and will finish the session in 5th at best. Some of those drivers below him might be aiming for a low 29 to get him ahead of Hales. Just missed out on time. Would have missed it by about 5 seconds. Not too bad though. P5 at the moment, Joseph, considering no practice earlier on today. Not too shabby if you ask me. As you say, only a 10th off your no assist time on Tuesday night with 0 practice. As I say, pretty impressive stuff. SLT Fury needs a couple of tenths of a second to beat Asthma Frog and get up into the top 7. Currently 4 tenths to the good. If he improves by about 7 tenths, he might get ahead of Mr. Wiggles. Chaz Dunn. Maybe an invalidation for little Chaz that we haven't seen yet. Fury, 7th fastest. Who is the next? Mr. Wiggles. And I think he has backed off. He has. Mr. Wiggles was up in the first sector, but made a huge mistake in the middle sector. And that is all she wrote. What about Josh then? No, who's next? It's Killian. 2 tenths to the good. Through the middle section of the lap. Times are going to flood in after Killian posts his time. Deflated out on track, looking to extend his grip on pole position. Killian goes fastest by a 10th of a second, and here comes Deflated and steals pole position right back. And here comes Josh, who takes pole position by a 10th of a second. Chaz on a slow lap that just leaves Allied Squire, who is going round with Chaz. So Josh takes the 81 pole record this season. 7 pole positions, was tied with Wee for 6 apiece. Officially has the most poles this season in his tier 1 with 7. Deflated Wee exactly where he needs to be in terms of challenging for the win. But of course, if Josh finishes 8th or above, it doesn't matter where Deflated finishes. All those ramifications for the race will be fixed at some point. Row 2 goes to Killian and Chaz. Joseph Hales, after the 1 run, is 5th and joined by Mr. Wiggles on row 3. Row 4 is Fury and Frog, and the 5th row of the grid, Allied Squire and Smaller Smiley. Going momentarily. So Josh, alongside Deflated, it's a fairy tale ending in qualifying. Who is going to come out on top in the championship? And it's go. And Deflated Wheat, perfect start inside line and takes the lead, exactly what he needed to do when the pressure's on. Deflated, you can count on him, but Josh needs to stay 8th or higher to win this championship. It looks all pretty clean for a lot of the field, especially the background. As all someone's off, and I think that's Padge in the background in the Haas, who has just run off on one of the S corners. That's Allied Squire tempting his fate, going onto the grass at the end of the Dunlop curve. And everyone is cleanly away. Move down the inside of Smaller Smiley. That's Carito. Bit of a squeeze out to the inside. Oh, and that's contact! And how is Smaller Smiley not out of this race? How on earth has that wheel not come off in 2 different places? There is a virtual safety car. Oh, and Smaller Smiley just trying to get control of the car after spinning. And, well, it just looked like Smaller was squeezed slightly by Carito. There was no contact which led to Smaller Smiley's unfortunate crash, but Obviously, having a car that close to you will provide some level of distraction. Side by side at the exit, Spoon. Thankfully, no side by side. Oh, bit of a late defense from E69, had to be said. And Ice gets out of the move as a result. Top Gun gets a nice exit and engaging some ERS. No DRS, and of course, lap 3 is when it is now enabled, so down the main straight. Now, from now on, you will have DRS. Yellow flag, and there's a Ferrari off, and E69 has crashed. And that is a full course safety car. Moments of madness here in AT1 as we had Allied Squire spinning in the background in the S section, and right in front of Top Gun's eyes, E69 spins at the Dunlop curve and crashes out of the final race of the season. It's always a shame when someone crashes out like that. Question now, will anyone pit? Obviously the pressure is on, safety car is in this lap, which means Deflated will back up the fields. Safety car hasn't got a long way to go to get back into the pit lane, so Deflated doesn't need to do this for too much longer. I imagine in the next couple of moments he will go, possibly out of this final corner, and he does. Keeps it nice and steady, no wheel spin at all, weaving the car to get heat into the tyres, as Josh does that as well, who has got Killian behind for company. And Josh has been overtaken. It doesn't mean an awful lot. As we say, Josh needs to finish 8th or above to claim his back-to-back championships in AT1. But maybe Josh is just struggling on those hard compound tyres. He's being a bit more conservative, being a bit more sensible, a bit more cautious, which he is well within his own right to do so. And I don't think any of these drivers out there, as RP1 Ice and Smaller Smiley, have both spun at the Dunlop curve. Maybe some contact between them as well. Remains to be seen. I don't imagine anyone will be favouring either driver. Obviously, McLaren need to play a team game in terms of the constructors, as Asmafrog gets passed by Carito. Carito, part of the Red Bull garage, who are leading the Constructors' Championship by 19 points. So, as things stand, McLaren are outscoring Red Bull, but I'm not sure they are outscoring them by enough. Deflated 10 points ahead of Josh. Wiggles is 4 points ahead of Carito. So as things stand, Red Bull would win the Constructors by just 5 points. Oh, and Joseph Hales! It was the parting of the AlphaTauri seat. And unfortunately, that is a huge shame for Joseph. Had a fantastic win here on Tuesday night. If you didn't catch it on the no assist race, but no practice before quali session tonight, and sometimes that is what makes the difference. The lights flashing at the back of the car, which means he has less than 10% ERS storage remaining. Not long since the safety car came in, so Carito has really been pushing to try and either catch Fury or build a gap on Asmafrog, but Frog has stuck with him, shall I say, and that's his personal best lap. Asmafrog 6/10 to the good, and this will be a move round the outside of the first corner, and I don't think there was contact as Carito spins. There was more contact, and TD is off at turn 2, and that was definite contact with Top Gun. Again, we didn't quite see all of it. And there is a full course safety car. Now, what is that for? Does someone have damage? Let's have a look. What about Carito? Has he got his front wing? Yeah, he's got all of his front wing intact. Is it Squire? Yes, Allied Squire has no front wing on the car. Oh, and it's a bit unfortunate. Safety car number 3 is out. Squire is still in this Grand Prix and just needs to get a bit of rhythm in the car, it would seem. Well, he's retired from the race, in fact. Box for medium compound tyres. Let's see if they prove me right. Deflated boxes, Killian boxes. Josh comes in. So does Chaz, so does Wiggles. Fury stays out though. So does Asthma Frog. What about Top Gun? He stays out. Padge is in for new tyres. Arjan has already boxed in this race, so doesn't need to at the moment. TD comes in, Joseph comes in, so does Carito. And RP1 Ice, currently in 14th place, will stay out. Smaller Smiley, eager to get on with it. Trying to force Ice to go quicker here for getting rid of his own front wing. Safety car's in this lap, and that's a late call. So, the field is back. And Fury, on 11-lap-old medium hard compound tyres even, has caught Asthma Frog napping and has already got a second and a half. And Deflated Wee is getting on with this pretty quickly here. Needs to get past this Ferrari ASAP. And it looks all fair from my seat at the moment. What about Josh? He has little chance for company. Mr. Wiggles has dropped back slightly from that group, but the opening lap of a safety car restart is a perfect opportunity to claw back some time you've lost. Arjan looking to defend P4, but he knows that he's got a gauntlet of drivers coming for him there. Will Killian go for it? A little bit of contact, but only very minor. Oh, and almost pushed off track. And here comes Josh now. He's got Chaz to the left. He's got an Alpine in front, and Chaz is going around the outside. Into the spoon corner. Chaz has the inside line, and here comes Mr. Wiggles. Josh is dropping. But Josh fighting back. Half a car length ahead into 130R, and Mr. Wiggles wisely backs off. Oh, that could have ended so badly. Josh a little bit too deep there into the chicane, and this might give Mr. Wiggles a really good opportunity to get the run on him down into turn 1. Further up the field, we've got Killian and Arjan side by side. Deflated Wee has already made his way back into P2 and past Asthma Frog. You can see in the foreground there as Killian makes his way past Arjan. And who is that? It's Asthma Frog spinning. For a moment there, I thought Deflated had spun the car at the end of turn 2. Arjan, of course, it's well within Arjan's right to defend. He is defending from Chaz, who goes around the outside of the hairpin. Oh, Arjan, that's on the grass. Oh, and that could have ended so badly on a different day. Mr. Wiggles here is really pushing Josh along and is basically saying, get ahead of that Ferrari now, or I will overtake you. Arjan goes defensive before 130R. Mr. Wiggles has really good straight line speed here and is looking to go around the outside of the chicane. Josh brakes a bit too late, avoids contact, but now Wiggles puts the pressure on. Killian trying to close that gap to Deflated, who is battling for the lead. And more contact! Arjan's round! And a full course yellow. Sector 3 and Sector 1 as Arjan gets back on track. Carito has span in the first sector. And smaller Smiley, potential contact between the pair of them as Deflated looks to challenge for the lead. Everything is back to green flag conditions in once again another moment of madness, which we unfortunately did not capture all of it. Fury, of course, was running P6 and had decent pace before the safety cars came out. So Fury is no slouch, but Deflated Wee here is being held up and Killian is closing that gap. We are halfway through the final race of the season. Sys Tier 1 will be coming to a close after this race. And the championship is still not yet decided. Josh leads Deflated by 23 points. Deflated needs to win this Grand Prix to have any hope of winning the championship. Josh, if he finishes 8th or above, will be champion no matter what Wee does. If Wee doesn't win, Josh automatically will be back-to-back champion. On getting a 3-second time penalty. So now this is 2 groups of leaders. We've got 1st to 3rd and 4th to 6th. Will Deflated go for it into this chicane? He's having a look. He's gone on the brakes. And he has made the move. Fury, big snap of oversteer, corrects it. And that gives Deflated an opening to start to pull a gap, but Fury is gaining with the DRS open. He's not open actually. Good straight line speed from Fury on his setup. And Deflated is released into the lead of the race where he needs to be. Killian, as you can see, being held up by Fury. Deflated is driving into the distance like he did on that safety car restart. But now is Killian's best opportunity. A couple of laps ago he saw Deflated go down the inside of Fury at this very chicane. But Fury on those hard compound tyres is getting fantastic exits. But now Killian, look at the straight line speed. He's got the ERS on, he's got the DRS open, and that was the commitment that he needed to get through into 2nd place. And I imagine their 2nd stint will most probably be the soft compounds. Padge running 10th and no time penalties, has a good gap behind to Asthma Frog, so Padge will score good points here tonight if this good performance carries on. Fury does box, and what compound will he go on to? It's mediums. Not surprised by that at all with 7 laps remaining. However, Ice Asthma Frog may have plans to go on to soft compound. Asthma Frog doesn't, as he makes me eat my words. Pions. Carito now up into P9, so McLaren, as things stand, will win the Constructors by 2 points. With Carito now into P9 and Mr. Wiggles spinning. And that has completely changed the Constructors once again. McLaren now not scoring as many points, and they've lost 4 points here. This puts Red Bull back in the driver's seat for the Constructors' Championship. And there's nothing more that Deflated can do, because he's winning the Grand Prix. So Mr. Wiggles here, if McLaren want this championship, he needs to overtake Joseph Hales at the very minimum. Yellow flag and a full course safety car. Is that for Arjan? No front wing for Arjan and a full course safety car, and it's causing everyone to box. Soft tyres on the car. Top Gun stays out, and so does Joseph Hales. This could be the last minute drama maybe some were hoping for. Smaller Smiley stays out. Crucially though, not ahead of Josh. Still P6. But we still have the final race of the season on Sunday night, 7:30 PM GMT on this channel. Join us for Assisted 2 coverage of the Japanese Grand Prix to round off what has been a thoroughly enjoyable and successful season 4. And that is a very late call from the safety car. I don't think you can get a later call than that. Joseph Hales forced to be very defensive here. Here comes the restart. Will this be contact? Will this be a clean move? Move for the lead. And I know Wee's got soft tyres on, but that is a decent overtake. If that wins him the Grand Prix, and indeed the championship, you could not do it in a better manner. Truly fantastic overtake there into the first corner without contact. Granted, he did have quicker tyres on the car, but Joseph was thrown under the bus there by the safety car coming in so late. 3 laps remaining of this season. Mr. Wiggles looking for a move down the inside of Josh. Kirito is up to 7th. This is going to put Red Bull as the Constructors' Champions as things stand. Fury is going side by side with Smaller Smiley, who has opted to stay out on those worn hard tyres during the last safety car, and as a result he is really struggling on grip, and he's going to lose all hope of scoring points here tonight. Top Gun ambitious around the outside. Oh, and a bit of contact from Padge. Thankfully didn't really affect Top Gun too much. Killian now side by side with Joseph Hales. Bit of contact, but good defending from Joseph here, who is hoping to get on the podium in back-to-back Japanese Grand Prix. One on Tuesday night, if you remember. It's driven off into the distance, which won't mean too much as things stand. Josh is P5 and doing everything he needs to win the championship. Yellow flag. We've got Arjan. Not enjoying that corner, it has to be said. And I'm sure he'll be very glad to see the back of this track. Killian pulling out of the slipstream, trying to go for the move. And Joseph, this is remarkable defending from Joseph Hales here. If he gets a podium out of this race, it will be a minor miracle. Oh, and contact! And Killian! Oh my word. Killian almost caused a huge collision TD with a time penalty. Killian. Oh, and Joseph lost it. Josh is now second. And this midfield fight, Kirito's up to P4. And Red Bull completely in control of the Constructors' Championship. 1 lap to go. Deflated, leading by 5 seconds, but that doesn't matter. The big kicker here could be Kirito and where he finishes for the Constructors. If Josh makes any mistake, it will be Wii's championship. But under huge pressure, Josh has delivered so many times before. Yellow flags for someone in Sector 1. TD, not quite been his race, not going to score points tonight. Deflated though, he came into this, lost out on pole position by less than a tenth of a second to Josh. He's done everything he needed to. He's bossed this race, he deserves to win. But here comes Josh, round the final corner, and it's a 2-time for Josh. Back-to-back champions. Wiggles finishes on the podium. Top Gun in P4, Chaz in P5, Padge, Kirito, Killian, Fury, Smaller, Smiley in the points. After choosing not to pit and doing 26 laps on the hard compounds. Defends from Asthma Frog and Ice on the line. TD, well, thank you so much for doing some donuts. It has been an absolutely phenomenal season. Genuinely can't think of a more dramatic way to finish this season off. But it is Josh who wins the championship. Deflated, commiserations. Deflated keeps up his very impressive Assist Tier 1 point scoring streak. Deflated wins and gets the fastest lap of the Grand Prix. But it is Josh who is champion. Let's think. McLaren have scored 41 points. Red Bull have scored 18 plus 6, 24. I can't remember what I said about McLaren. Oh my word. Chat needs to help me here. Right. Red Bull have scored 24 points. McLaren have scored 43. You know what? I think it's tied. I think it's a tie on points. Please correct me if I'm wrong, chat. I think the Constructors are tied.